Hey guys, welcome back to the Basil and Dill YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Anna and I will be showing you the absolute best recipe for a sweet potato and bean chili. So let's get started. I'm starting off with a sweet onion. I'm gonna chop this sucker in half. Let's do this as carefully as possible. I feel like there's this big question, how should you chop an onion in half? Some of y'all do it this way, some of y'all probably do it the other way and you're like cringing right now. I don't think it matters. I saw some guy on TikTok that was like, you have to chop it this way. And I tried that way, but I didn't see a difference. I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong. If I am, let me know and I'll try to work on my onion chopping. So I've chopped it in half. I'm just gonna use a half today. We're starting with, let's see, I'm gonna peel off the skin. If you have a really small onion, just use the whole thing. It won't hurt you. If you have a large onion like me, just use half. So I'm just gonna cut it, gonna slice it, start like that. Perfect, okay. And then I'm gonna turn it, I'm gonna cut it right down the side. Just kidding, I'm not gonna do that because I'm gonna chop my fingers off. I'm telling you, I'm not an onion cutting genius. Actually, let's go like this. So I'm gonna take it by layers. And then I always there's this little stem part. I'm just gonna take that out because I don't really like it. I'm just gonna throw that away. Because it's kind of like when you eat it, it's kind of hard. So I'm gonna chop that. And right now we're just dicing it into little cubes and putting it into our pot. So, like that, and then cut it. All right, so I've cut up all my onions and I've turned my heat on. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. And this little oil pouring thing, I don't understand it, but if you take the cap off, the oil pours so much easier. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. So I have about a tablespoon of oil in there. I'm just gonna let those onions soften up while I peel my potatoes. So here I have 3 sweet potatoes. And I just peel them and then I'm gonna dice them into little cubes. So I've peeled all my sweet potatoes. Now I'm gonna get my trusty little spork and move around my onions just because I don't want them to burn. They're looking good. They're still pretty light in color. They haven't gained any caramelization. Can I say that? Why not? I run this show. Okay, so that looks good. I'm gonna put this right here. Now is the time for our spices. This is the fun part. We're gonna mix it up here and make our chili really interesting. I'm gonna start with, we're gonna do a teaspoon garlic powder, because garlic powder never hurt nobody. Perfect. And then I'm going to do a teaspoon smoked paprika. Woo. That looks good. Man, smoked paprika will make your house smell so good. It's strong though, so just beware. And then let's do, how much? Let's do 2 teaspoons cumin. There we go, and one more. Perfect, and then I'm gonna add some salt. I'm gonna wipe off my little half a teaspoon thing. Little measuring spoon. So here we go. Let's do boom. Okay, perfect. So we got all of those, and now I'm gonna add some cinnamon, which is a little bit weird, but trust me, it adds this really interesting earthy note. So just a bit. There you go. It's just like a little pinch. A couple of days ago, I watched a presentation from Jack Bishop. He was at Harvard University and he was talking about the science of cooking, which I'm obsessed with it and I think it's so cool. But he mentioned something about chilies. And he said that if you add your spices in when you just have oil in the pan, no water yet, or no chicken broth or anything like that, no liquids pretty much. When you just have some oil, the spices will gain a lot more flavor because the oil like accentuates the flavor in the spices. So I find that really interesting, and I notice a big difference when I do that with my chilies. So the onions are looking good. Gonna mix that around. I'm still gonna let them cook some more because they're still pretty tough. And while they're cooking, I'm gonna chop up my sweet potatoes. So let's cut the ends off. Boom, boom. This is the hardest part for me because I don't know, my arms aren't that strong, so I really have to press when whew, there we go. You gotta find a really sharp knife. That makes a huge difference when you're chopping. And I chop them into like as small cubes as I dare. You don't wanna chop them too tiny because, oh, just kidding, they're not going in there yet. Whoops, got carried away. You don't wanna chop them too tiny because then you'll just kinda have like sweet potato mush. We don't want sweet potato mush. So, chop them into like medium-sized cubes. Oh, but also if you chop them too big, you are just gonna wait for like hours for this to cook. So, just in the medium range will be perfect. And I'm gonna add just a little bit more oil, just so we keep things moving around in there. Oh, it already smells good. Yay. All right, so we've chopped up our sweet potatoes and our onions are looking fantastic and smelling fantastic too, which makes me super excited. So, just gonna mix that around, and they're getting pretty soft now. So I think it's time to add in our sweet potatoes. Whew, let's do this as gracefully as possible. Let's see. My goal is no sweet potatoes out of the pot today. Oh, almost there, almost there. Wow, look at me go. That was pretty impressive, not gonna lie. Okay, that's one piece. Okay, now let's mix this around, and I really just wanna cover all of my sweet potato pieces with those spices and with those onions. And I'm gonna let that cook for a little while. And if you need, you can totally add a little bit more oil just to give those sweet potatoes a little bit of like wiggle room so they can grab onto the spices a little bit better. This seriously smells so good. I'm really excited. We've mixed this around and it looks great, and now we're on to our liquids. So here I have 2 cups of just plain water. I'm gonna pour this in and try to get the sides too because I have some spices there and I wanna kind of get them off the sides. We'll see if that happens. Okay, perfect. Wow, it got really quiet. And I'm gonna add 2 cups of chicken stock. If you are vegan or vegetarian, feel free to sub the chicken stock for just plain like vegetable stock. I wouldn't recommend using just water because that might be a little bit boring. But yeah, so you can just use vegetable stock if that fits your dietary restrictions a little bit better. Perfect, that looks great. And then I'm gonna add 16-ounce bottle of salsa. And it works best if the salsa is kind of chunky because that makes the whole chilies texture a little bit better. So that looks wonderful. We're gonna mix this around. Now onto the beans. So you can use either red or black beans. Those are my favorites for this recipe. And it doesn't really matter if you use canned or dried. I know that canned is easier, so if you have like a lack of time, for sure go that route. Today I'm using dried, and if you do go the dried route, make sure that you cook them beforehand because they won't be in the pot long enough to cook all the way. So just be aware of that. And I try to partially drain them when I use these beans, especially canned. Definitely drain like half of the liquids out because that'll just be a bit too much. Also, if you're using canned beans, a lot of times those companies, they add salt. So I might just try a bean or two and just see how salty it is and then add salt depending on that. If they're really salty, just take out the salt that I've added completely and just go with the salt from the beans. So this looks so good right now, but the sweet potatoes aren't ready. So I'm gonna let this simmer for about an hour on like a medium-high heat or until my sweet potatoes are cooked. For everyone, that time may be a little bit different depending on how you cut your sweet potatoes. So I will see you in about an hour. So we are back. It's been cooking for about 45 minutes. I'm gonna open it. Woo! Wow, that was cool. Set that aside. Let's see, it honestly looks so good. Here we go. I'm gonna check one of my sweet potatoes. Just pull out. I usually find the biggest one that I can. Check it. Man, went in perfectly. Looks great. Okay, I think it's time to serve up. Let's see. So my favorite toppings for this chili, I have some avocado here. That's amazing. That's the easier option if you want to go full out and make some guac. That is so good, and I have a great recipe for that up on my blog. I'll link it down below. You can also do some extra salsa and cilantro, even sour cream if you want. That'll be pretty good if you want to cut down a little bit on the heat. There we go. Woo, this bowl is hot. Goodness gracious. Perfect. And let's cut up some avocado. Man, this is always like such a dangerous game, cutting up the avocado in your hand. It's okay. Perfect. And I use about 1/4 of an avocado per bowl. Put it on top just like that. There we go. We're all done. Here is your delicious bowl of sweet potato and bean chili. Enjoy, it is so delicious. I'm sure you're going to love it. All right, I have a little puppy. Hi, Mozart. If you try out this recipe, please let me know in the comments down below, and please like and subscribe for more amazing recipes. Let's go eat some dinner, yeah? We're gonna have some chili with some guac and some salsa, yeah? Okay, we will see y'all guys in the next video. Bye. Bye.